Law enforcement in our area are mourning the deputy killed while serving a warrant in Rockford.
And Milwaukee, Miami, or Houston? The question of who will host the 2020 Democratic National Convention is still unanswered this morning, a week after that announcement was supposed to be made.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the 6 o'clock hour of News 3 Now this morning. You made it to Friday, March 8th. And again, I keep saying that we're like getting some sort of reward for making it through the work week with these. It's been a long week, especially for you guys in the weather office. It's been a long winter, really.
It feels like it, and it really felt like the middle of winter this
24th. So again, a long time that we've had temperatures below freezing. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Not able to see a nice sunrise this morning. Skies are cloudy. We even had a little bit of light snow here on the southwest side of town. We're seeing that on the radar maps. We won't see any major accumulations. Anything that does accumulate is just going to be a dusting at best across southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your temperatures. Still climbing. We've already hit the morning low, so we're up to 16 now here in Madison, 21 right now in Mineral Point, and 25 in Janesville. Not a bad start to the morning temperature-wise. We'll continue to go up from here. Highs will climb into the mid-30s this afternoon. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps early today. We're looking at no major delays in the area or accidents here in Madison. Elsewhere across the region, looks like you're still going at posted speeds as you head into Madison. So just a few snowflakes. Nothing that's going to slow you down too much today.
Yeah, it might be a different story this weekend, though,
right,
you're saying.
Yeah, we're watching a big storm, and I'll have all the details coming up in Maine weather.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight, Janesville police say 2 men are in custody this morning after an argument over drugs escalated on the city's west side. Officers responded to reports of a person with a gun along Lynn Street around 9:30 last night. The caller told dispatch a man inside a home there was armed and threatening to shoot everyone inside. Police say the woman was able to get out with her 4 children, but as she was leaving, a gunshot was heard. Officers later learned a mutual friend had heard the argument and fired that shot outside. Police say this whole thing stemmed from an argument over drugs. 22-year-old Cole Smith is facing a charge of recklessly endangering safety, and 22-year-old Michael Black was arrested on 4 counts of recklessly endangering safety while armed, along with several domestic violence-related charges.
Police departments across southern Wisconsin are sending their condolences to Rockford this morning after a deputy was fatally shot while on the job yesterday. 35-year-old Jacob Keltner was shot while serving a warrant at a hotel. He died later at the hospital. Keltner was a sworn U.S. Marshal who has served with the McHenry County Sheriff's Office for more than a decade. You can see here squad cars led a procession last night carrying his body from the hospital to the coroner's office. As they wait for an official autopsy to be completed, his colleagues on the force are remembering him as an important part of the team.
Comes from a long line of service. He's a dedicated guy. He's a dedicated family man, and he's just truly going to be missed. Do you know how old his children are, sir?
So this man here, 39-year-old Floyd Brown, is in custody in connection with the deputy's death. He's also accused of shooting a woman inside the hotel yesterday morning. That woman is expected to be okay. Brown led Illinois police on a 30-minute chase after he allegedly shot Deputy Keltner. At times, he was going more than 100 miles per hour. He was finally arrested along I-55 between Bloomington and Springfield after a nearly 5-hour standoff. Brown will likely face both state and federal charges.
Deputy Keltner was serving a no-knock warrant in that incident when police say Floyd Brown shot him. That's exactly what it sounds like when officers force entry into a home and then announce themselves. It's often used in drug-related crimes for the element of surprise. So Milwaukee has felt these consequences of the no-knock procedure. That's what led to Officer Matthew Rittner's death last month. In Houston, 4 officers were shot and 2 civilians killed during a no-knock raid back in January. Since then, the police chief there says his department will not be using the tactic anymore unless it's a rare circumstance where he and only he gives permission for it. Our partner station, WDJT in Milwaukee, asked police there if they'd ever consider making a similar change, but have not yet received a response.
President Trump will be in Alabama today, meeting with some of the people who lost everything in tornadoes. 23 people were killed when a dozen tornadoes moved through the state on Sunday. The president will visit Lee County on the eastern side of the state, which is the area that was hit hardest by the storm system. While residents continue digging through the rubble, meteorologists are forecasting more severe weather for that area this weekend. Some of the most widely damaged areas will be at risk once again for high winds and even a few additional tornadoes. Meanwhile, President Trump's former campaign chairman will spend the next 4 years in jail. That's the verdict from a federal judge in Virginia for Paul Manafort. The sentence is far less than the maximum 24 years he could have faced. A jury convicted Manafort in August on 8 counts of tax and bank fraud in connection with his political consulting in Ukraine before the election and lying about his income.
Milwaukee and 2 other potential host cities for the 2020 Democratic National Convention are getting a little anxious to hear who will be selected. The DNC chairman was supposed to make that decision by the end of February, and now, a week later, there's still no word. Governor Evers wants to know what's going on so he can start planning. Philip Levine, the co-chairman fighting for Miami to win, told Political it's an unwarranted delay that will cause problems with logistics and bills for whichever city is selected. Houston is also in the running.
Dane County leaders are urging the state legislature to ban future wildlife killing contests. Organizations across the state hold those contests to hunt targeted predators like coyotes, bobcats, and foxes for fun. Last night, supervisors unanimously passed their final version of a resolution to end the contests that will go to legislators and the DNR as well as Governor Evers. Dane County is the first in the Midwest to take that kind of action. 6:06 right now, and when you set your clocks ahead an hour this weekend, emergency management officials say you should also be testing smoke and carbon monoxide detectors in your home.
Yeah, hundreds of Wisconsinites go to the emergency room every year for carbon monoxide poisoning. And with furnaces working overtime this winter, that number's up. Christina Laurie joins us now with more safety advice. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning. All homes and duplexes in the state are required to have detectors like this installed on every level of your home, including your basement. But that's not the only way you can help keep your family safe from carbon monoxide poisoning. Wisconsin Emergency Management recommends having your furnace or wood-burning stove inspected every year by a professional to make sure it vents properly outside your home. They say you should never run a gas or propane heater or any type of grill inside your home or garage, and you should use battery-powered devices in places like tents, RVs, and boats. Keep your generator at least 20 feet from your home and never run it by windows or doors. Any heating system that burns fuel produces carbon monoxide, which is an increased concern this year.
Anytime furnaces are working overtime like they have been this season, it does increase the concerns about the possibility of carbon monoxide leaks in homes. So that makes it very important that people are certain that their carbon monoxide detectors are working.
The National Fire Protection Association also reminds you to change batteries in all your detectors. 3 out of every 5 home fire deaths happens when a home either doesn't have smoke detectors or those detectors aren't working properly. Now, as you said, the numbers are up this year. Around 500 Wisconsinites get treated for carbon monoxide poisoning every year, and this winter has already been especially rough. These detectors as a whole should be replaced every 5 years, by the way, in case you haven't done that. I didn't know that, Leah.
Important stuff.
Definitely an important reminder this time of year. Christina, thank you so much.
All right, a new movie out in theaters might be a good one to take your daughter to see this weekend. Captain Marvel features one of the universe's most powerful heroes who fights off aliens. Will Loper's going to have a preview.
Yeah, and she's a lady. Woohoo! And bring on the heat wave. Well, sort of. We will get back to normal-ish temperatures this weekend, but that does come with rain and snow. Hattie's got multiple alert days in the forecast next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the patio. We have some light snow coming down here on the west side of town. It's not really adding up to anything on the ground, but keep in mind you may see some snowflakes on your way into work this morning. Now, it's no secret that it's been a very cold start to March. When you add up the numbers for the first week in March, we are at 7th place for the coldest start to March ever, an average temperature of 12.3 degrees. And you can see the other years that were ahead of us, most recently 2014, where we averaged just under 12 degrees for that first week in March. So things have been very cold, but we are going to start to turn a little bit of a corner, at least heading through the next week or so. Alert days are in the forecast, though. We have a big storm system moving in this weekend that will bring a mix, changing over to some rain on Saturday and then back to some snow Saturday night into Sunday. There could be some light snow accumulations, especially north and west of Madison, and also some pretty heavy rain at times, adding up to anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rain on Saturday. Now, there aren't any winter weather bulletins in effect for our viewing area, but if you are traveling to the north this weekend, keep that in mind. Travel is going to be difficult. Winter storm warnings are already in effect for areas like the Twin Cities as well as Eau Claire, where 6 to 12 inches of snow is expected. For us here in southern Wisconsin, we may see our precipitation start out as a mix initially Saturday morning, but quickly change over to some rain. That rain-snow line, though, is not too far to the north of Madison, so areas north of the Dells may see some snow starting already late Saturday afternoon. It'll eventually change to all snow across the area and come to an end by midday Sunday. We're still looking at some pretty heavy rain totals for the region, considering that the ground is frozen. So all that rain is going to be running off and could cause some problems with flooding in some spots. We also have snow expected. Not much here in Madison, but those snow totals do increase even as you head towards La Crosse, about 2.5 inches of snow expected there. So keep that in mind. Here's a look at the radar map this morning. Snowflakes continue to fall on me here on the west side of town and across parts of southern Wisconsin, areas mainly west of Madison. Here's a closer view of the southern part of the region. This little batch of snow will quickly move through the area this morning. Temperatures are much warmer in the teens and even low 20s. We don't have a wind chill to factor in either. So take a look at your future track forecast model. Through the day today, we have mostly cloudy skies this morning. A little bit of a break in the cloud cover this afternoon, but I think we'll still keep quite a few of those clouds today. Highs, though, making it above the freezing point to 35 degrees. Now, we'll likely start out dry on Saturday morning, but then that rain and mixed precipitation moves in through the morning hours and then changes over to all rain for a time in the afternoon. Here's a look at your forecast then as we go through the next several days. At least 30s become the norm for highs, that is. Nighttime lows as well in the teens, 20s, so a little bit warmer. Another storm system after this weekend, the next one coming midweek next week. We could hear some rumbles of thunder. Our traffic maps this morning, so far across the area, things have been pretty quiet. Let's get a check-in with Jason Stone and all the details this morning. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No accidents to report at this time as drivers are getting to the Beltline without delay and are moving at the posted speed limit. All routes heading into Madison and around Dane County are clear for commuters this morning, and no major incidents downtown, only moderate lining up at the intersections on East Wash. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, on this International Women's Day, we are excited to talk about the first female-led superhero film from Marvel Studios opening in theaters this weekend.
The film is Captain Marvel, and here with the preview is our film critic, Will Morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So yeah, it only took 20 films and 11 years to arrive at this point. A little overdue, but Brie Larson is ready to save the world, even if it means punching an old lady on a bus who's really an alien in disguise. Take a look.
Space invasion, big car chase. Truth be told, I was ready to hang it up till I met you today.
It's 1995. Samuel L. Jackson is young again, and it's up to Captain Marvel to stop a galactic conflict before it destroys Earth.
So, Skrulls are the bad guys.
I keep having these memories. Something in my past is the key to all of this.
Captain Marvel is rated PG-13.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Oh boy, I can't get over the punching the old lady scene. That's tough.
She was growling. It was clearly an evil alien. You never know who they are.
Right, that's true. You
Might as well just go around
Masters
and
of disguise. Masters of disguise. I mean, it is really awesome to see some serious lady power here. We kind of got a taste. I don't know. Black Panther for me was a really cool film and with showing that lady power, but this is a whole new level.
Absolutely. I mean, she's front and center. It's all on her, which is great.
And about time.
Very much about time, yeah.
All right, we're going to have a preview, or a review rather, on Monday.
Reviews on Monday, yep, that's right.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
So we headed into the final round of judging at the U.S. Cheese Championships with a 50-50 chance of Wisconsin taking home the top prize. We'll tell you whether America's Dairyland is waking up with that title again when News 3 Now This Morning continues.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We are starting off with a few snowflakes this morning here in Madison and areas in the southern part of Dane County especially. The snow is not going to add up to too much today, just a dusting at best in most locations. Thank goodness temperatures are warmer than they were this time yesterday. We're about 15 degrees warmer in most spots early today. Here's a look at the actual air temperatures. 16 here in Madison. Janesville's at 25, Platteville is at 20, it's even 12 in the Dells. Temperatures are already starting to warm, so we're not expected to drop any more. We'll climb into the mid-30s this afternoon with variably cloudy skies across southern Wisconsin. It'll be our first day above the freezing point since February 24th. So even though it's still cold outside, you don't need as many layers today.
All right, noted. Thank you, Hattie. 6:22 your time now. America has a new cheese champion this morning, and they're not from Wisconsin.
Boo.
I know. With an impressive score of 98.5, though, out of 100, a baby Swiss wheel made by an Ohio company won the U.S. Championship Cheese Contest last night. Just doesn't seem right. First and second runner-up by just a tenth of a point, Marieke Gouda from Thorpe, Wisconsin. A record-setting 2,555 cheese entries from 35 different states were all evaluated at the two-day competition up at Lambeau Field. Overall, Wisconsin cheesemakers did dominate, earning gold medals in 60 of the 116 contest classes. By the way, this marks only the 6th time a cheesemaker from outside Wisconsin has won in the last 20 competitions.
So we're about a month away from the Wisconsin Film Festival, and for any film enthusiasts who want to make sure they have a seat, tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 11. That happens at 2019wifilmfest.org. That's 2019.wifilmfest.org. The film guide was just posted to the website yesterday. There are more than 150 films to catch from April 4th through the 11th. Everything from American independent to international and documentary. Last year's festival brought in $1.7 million in direct economic impact to the Madison area. We'll sit down with two of the festival's programmers live in studio Monday on News 3 Now this morning.
We have a First Alert traffic update just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning. Greene County dispatchers say there is a two-vehicle crash on Highway 69 between Monticello and New Glarus. We're keeping an eye on that stretch to see if any backups build up traffic-wise. We'll keep you updated on traffic and any reports of injuries in that crash throughout the show and over on channel3000.com.
Well, coming up next, investigators find that no one is at fault after the Milton School Board president gave out tens of thousands of dollars without the board's official approval. The day's top stories are next, right here on News 3 Now this morning.
We are hearing from a state Supreme Court candidate who says his past comments about homosexuality and abortion won't impact his decision on the bench.
And we're sounding the alarm on a growing number of carbon monoxide poisoning cases in our area. Why you should make sure yours sounds this weekend.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Friday, March 8th. And we are finally feeling like it should outside this time of March.
At least closer. We're moving in the right direction, but it comes at a cost this weekend. Hattie, we're focusing in on today because, hey, we'll be above freezing. Woohoo!
About time.
I know, that's cause for a party right there. But it is snowing right now here in parts of southern Wisconsin. Some light snow coming down, just a dusting of accumulation at the station. A live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Certainly can't see any sun this morning. Skies are cloudy. Here's a look at the radar map. You can see that little batch of snow that has moved out of Greene County into Dane County at this time. It will continue to lift slightly to the north and east and diminish as we go through the next couple of hours. So we're not looking at any major accumulations, but just keep in mind you may see some snowflakes flying as you commute to work and school this morning. Our temperatures are at least warmer. We're in the teens and even 20s in some case across southern Wisconsin, so definitely a welcome change from the other mornings this week. Temperatures will climb above the freezing point today for the first time since February 24th. We're headed to a high of 35 degrees this afternoon. Now, no major precipitation in the area this morning, but we will watch a storm system for the upcoming weekend. Now getting a look at the first alert traffic maps this morning. There is a two-vehicle crash on Highway 69. This is south of Dane County in between Monticello and New Glarus, so be aware of that. Otherwise, in the Madison area, no accidents to report or major delays on the Beltline at this hour. Your drive times heading into Madison on some of those major routes still looking normal for this time of the day. And that's your first alert traffic.
That is certainly what we like to hear, especially considering what we could see this weekend, right, Hattie?
Yeah, travel could become difficult, especially if you're headed north this weekend. You want to pay close attention to that forecast.
All right. Well, thanks for the heads up. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
6:30 your time now. When you set your clocks ahead an hour this weekend, emergency management officials hope you take an extra minute or two to check carbon monoxide detectors.
That reminder is especially important with the cold winter we've been experiencing. Christina Laurie is live this morning to explain. And Christina, you have some advice for us, too, because this is a yearly reminder.
Yep, an important one, too.
Good morning. This year, that annual reminder to replace your batteries or your detector doubles as a warning. Because of this year's record-setting cold, furnaces have been working overtime, which increases the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning inside your home. Every year, about 500 Wisconsinites are sent to the emergency room for carbon monoxide poisoning. And this year, the health department says those numbers have gone up. Any heating system that burns fuel produces carbon monoxide. Wisconsin Emergency Management reminds you to never run a gas or propane heater on a grill in your house. Keep generators at least 20 feet from your home and never run them near windows or doors. And those furnaces, have them inspected annually.
We do know that these situations happen. People do get ill, and there are leaks reported many times throughout the course of the year where people experience symptoms and do need to get out of their home quickly because of carbon monoxide.
Symptoms of carbon monoxide are headaches, fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, nausea, and confusion, similar to the common cold or the flu. But at high levels, carbon monoxide can kill you in just minutes. If you or someone you know may be poisoned or your detector sounds an alarm, go outside immediately for fresh air and call 911. Here in Wisconsin, all homes are required to have detectors like this installed on every level, including your basement. You can get ones like this that plug into the wall. All you do, plug in, and you are good to go. This detector will last about 5 years, Leah and Danica.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thank you, Christina. 6:32 your time now. A candidate for state Supreme Court says his personal beliefs should not be a campaign issue.
I have not been running and saying anybody needs to agree with my own moral views or religious views. But what I have said is my job as a judge is to defend everyone's constitutional rights, including their right to worship as they see fit.
Brian Hagedorn recently lost support from major business groups after controversial comments about homosexuality and abortion that he made in a 2005 blog post. Hagedorn has accused liberals of attacking his religious beliefs and says he would stay impartial on the bench. But members of a nonpartisan group called We Are Many United Against Hate say he shouldn't use his faith to justify those comments.
While the judge is free to speak as he wishes, we can and should hold him accountable, and we should reject his hate.
Hagedorn says he has not brought his beliefs into his campaign, but is only responding to attacks against him. His opponent, Lisa Neubauer, did not respond to several of our requests for comment.
An attorney from Madison says no one with the Milton School District committed a crime after the board president gave out more than $30,000 without the board's approval. At last night's board meeting, a third-party investigator presented her findings on whether those payments did violate state law or board policy, and whether a board member who leaked documents to the media did anything wrong.
So with regard to both violations, I concluded they existed, but I likewise concluded that they were not intentional. I want to make one final comment. With regard to the conduct of administrative staff, I found no wrongdoing on the part of anyone.
So any disciplinary measures from here on out, they're up to the board. Board members declined to speak to the press last night about what had happened. The attorney, though, does have a full 15-page investigation she says will be made public as early as March 18th. We'll continue to bring you updates on that.
Childhood poverty in the U.S. could be cut in half in the next decade, according to a report mandated by Congress in 2015. UW-Madison professor Timothy Smeeding served on the committee that spent the past 2 years writing the Poverty Reduction Plan. Researchers found more than 9.6 million, or more than 13% of U.S. children, are part of families with annual incomes below the poverty line. The United Kingdom, Ireland, and Canada have all made progress toward reducing their childhood poverty levels by 50%, and researchers believe it's also possible here in the U.S. Next week, we will have Professor Smeeding on News 3 Now this morning to talk about the plan to make that happen.
6:34 right now, and Foxconn could be moving into office space in downtown Madison. The State Journal reports that an LLC tied to the company recently registered with the state under the name FE1 West Main Madison, that is. That's similar to other names Foxconn has used for real estate here in Wisconsin. The 1 West Main Street building, that's at the corner of Main and MLK Boulevard, is currently owned by BMO Harris Bank. In a statement to the paper, Foxconn says it's always looking for real estate opportunities, but would not confirm that it's looking for office space on the square.
There's a new report out that says in the first month of the year, thousands of jobs were added here in Wisconsin. According to the state's Department of Workforce Development, 4,900 non-farm jobs were added in January, along with 6,000 private sector jobs. There were more than 2,000 jobs added in construction, 1,000 added in manufacturing, and 5,000 in retail. The state's unemployment rate remains at 3%, which is lower than the national rate of 4%.
All right, it is almost 6:36 right now, and 2 months after the Lake Mills fire captain was killed, helping a driver along the Beltline, his department continues to grieve. We'll hear from one of his colleagues in the morning sprint.
And UW-Madison researchers need your help in a national competition to get free resources to better understand how to keep our pets healthy. More local news is next on News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back. I am giving us all a chance to relive yesterday's gorgeous sunrise with this photo out of my neck of the woods down in southwest Wisconsin. My friend Sherry sent me this picture. I don't know if you can tell, but that's a pond where the sunrise is actually reflecting off of it. Isn't that pretty?
That is very, very pretty.
Love this shot, Sherry. Hope you send me a couple more. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on Facebook or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so Danica and I can share our favorites right here on the program. A group of UW-Madison researchers are finalists in a national competition to study how certain genes affect animals. The UW School of Veterinary Medicine submitted this video to Pacific Biosciences to explain why they want to use the company's cutting-edge sequencing technology to study fibric myopathy in German shepherds. That's a crippling disease that also affects horses. UW is up against finalists from 5 other universities to win a free genome sequence. You can find the link to vote for them over on Facebook at SVM Genetics.
All right, a Rock County Animal Rescue wants women to be the driving force in their latest fundraising effort. The Humane Society of Southern Wisconsin is starting a capital campaign for a new shelter. That $4.5 million building would more than double the organization's current size. It would go up in the town of Rock, just south of Janesville. The Humane Society is asking the fundraising platform 100 Extraordinary Women, challenging its members to raise the first $100,000 for that shelter. Women who donate will have their name or the name of a loved one listed on a special plaque in the lobby. You can learn more at the link on your screen.
All right, 6:41, almost your time now. Hattie says once the sun peeks out this afternoon, we're going to get a little closer to normal March temperatures. About time.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be reaching the mid-30s and stay there for the next couple of days. Fingers crossed. Hattie's first alert forecast is coming up.
First, though, it is March 8th, and we want to say happy birthday to Avery and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thank you so much for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Even though we have some snowflakes outside, thought we'd start with a few signs of spring. Getting more pictures every day from viewers that are seeing signs that spring is right around the corner. Jerry Davis sent this one in. 3 in this picture: running water, a robin, and also the bright green from the watercress. Beautiful picture. With all 3 of those together, must be a sign that spring is right around the corner, right? And here's another one. This one Jackson sent in. He took this in the Wisconsin River. Swans are back, so another sign. Animals starting to return to the area. They may be questioning their decision, though, this weekend. We're looking at a mix of precipitation developing Saturday morning, changing to some rain, but up to an inch of precipitation is possible through the day on Saturday. Keep in mind the ground is still frozen and in most spots covered with quite a few inches of snow, so that will run off. Light snow and flurries and very windy conditions on Sunday. Some minor snow accumulations for southern Wisconsin, but areas of the state are looking at another big snow event. Winter storm warnings are already in effect for the areas shaded in pink. This covers northwestern Wisconsin as well as much of Minnesota. We're looking at those areas picking up another 6 to 12 inches of snow. GFS Future Track Forecast model starting tomorrow morning has all that precipitation just west of the Mississippi River Valley. It moves to the east, though, through the morning hours with temperatures close to the freezing point tomorrow morning. We may see a mix early, and then that rain-snow line just north of Madison through the afternoon hours. So here in Madison and points to the south, you're likely to see some rain. To the north, though, heading toward the Dells and La Crosse and Toma, some snow is possible. Everyone will change back to a mix and eventually snow as the storm system pulls out of the area by midday Sunday. It will be windy and turning a little colder then on Sunday. Our liquid precipitation possibility, though, we're looking at anywhere from ½ an inch to 1 inch of rain across southern Wisconsin. These lighter amounts take into account the snow that will be falling in northern Wisconsin, and that's where we see those heavier snow accumulations. There is some snow showing up on the radar map this morning from Madison and points to the south. It's not going to add up to much, just a few flurries and a dusting at best. Temperatures are in the teens this morning. Look at your Future Track forecast model through the day today. Mostly cloudy skies through the morning. Temperatures climbing to the 30s today. Will then stay very mild overnight. Saturday morning will still be in the 20s. Here's a look at that extended forecast then. Temperatures hitting highs in the 30s. Looks like that will become the norm as we head into next week. That's good news. Another storm system impacting the area by the middle of next week brings showers, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. Here's a look at Natalie in Stoughton. This taken a while after she was playing in some fresh snow. Maybe a few snowflakes, but more likely raindrops on her nose tomorrow.
Oh, buddy.
What a sweetie pie.
I know, I love her.
She's just embracing the weather, whatever we have.
Why not?
That's what we
Take
got to
our
do.
cues from her. Yeah, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
The morning sprint's coming up next, right here on News 3 Now this morning. 6:50 right now, time for the morning sprint. Taddy says we will finally move out of below freezing temperatures and into the mid-30s.
And Christina Laurie has a reminder to check your carbon monoxide detectors, especially after this bitterly cold winter. But we start in Rockford, where officers are remembering their colleague who was fatally shot while serving a warrant yesterday.
Comes from a long line of service. He's a dedicated guy, a dedicated family man, and he's just truly going to be missed.
35-year-old Jacob Keltner was a sworn U.S. Marshal who served with the McHenry County Sheriff's Office for more than a decade. 39-year-old Floyd Brown is in custody in connection with the deputy's death, leading officers on a 30-minute chase, then a 5-hour standoff. He's accused of shooting another woman inside the hotel yesterday morning. She is expected to be okay.
2 men are in custody after an argument over drugs led to a gunshot on Janesville's west side last night. A caller told 911 dispatchers a man was threatening to shoot a woman and her 4 children inside of a home on Lynn Street. Police say a mutual friend, 22-year-old Cole Smith, heard the argument and fired a shot outside. He is now in custody on a tentative reckless endangerment charge. The other man allegedly involved, Michael Black, was arrested on multiple counts of recklessly endangering safety while armed and a number of domestic violence-related charges.
The man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss and killing her parents now says he plans to plead guilty when he makes his next court appearance later this month. 21-year-old Jake Patterson made those comments in a letter he sent from jail in response to questions from a reporter at KARE 11, a station in Minneapolis. He also wrote that despite what court documents say, his actions were not planned. He said it was mostly impulse and that he doesn't think like a serial killer.
When there's only, 5 of us sitting at the table and, you're almost expecting or waiting for, Chris to show up and be a part of that officers' meetings because he was there all the time.
There was Lake Mills Fire Chief Todd Yandry, who says his team's still grieving the loss of Captain Chris Truman. Truman was hit and killed on New Year's Eve while helping out a stranded driver on the Beltline. The man charged with hitting Truman, Samuel Kremers, will spend up to 6 years in prison if he's convicted on the felony offense of driving with a suspended license causing death.
Mother Nature reminding us that it's still officially winter. We're seeing a few snowflakes across southern Wisconsin, impacting Dane County and the Madison area at this time. No major accumulations, though, from that snow this morning. Visibility is not being impacted, so the snow is very light. Temperatures will start out in the teens this morning, climb to the 20s, into the mid-30s for highs this afternoon.
Don't forget to check your detector this weekend. This winter's record-setting cold increases the likelihood of a carbon monoxide leak. With colder than usual temperatures, furnaces have been working overtime. Any heating system that burns fuel produces carbon monoxide. That's why it's important to have your furnace inspected every year and to make sure you keep your generator at least 20 feet away from your house. The State Department of Health says around 500 Wisconsinites are treated in hospital emergency rooms across the state every year. And although it's early in the year, that number is already above normal.
My job as a judge is to defend everyone's constitutional rights, including their right to worship as they see fit.
That's a state Supreme Court candidate, Brian Hagedorn. He says his personal beliefs on homosexuality and abortion wouldn't impact his job on the bench. He recently lost support from major business groups after controversial comments he made in a 2005 blog post that had resurfaced. Hagedorn has accused liberals of attacking his religious beliefs and says he would stay impartial on the bench. His opponent, Lisa Neubauer, did not respond to our requests for comment.
President Trump will be in Alabama today, meeting with people who lost everything to tornadoes over the weekend. 23 people were killed after a dozen tornadoes moved through that state Sunday. The president will specifically visit Lee County on the eastern side of the state that was hit hardest by that storm system. Meteorologists are forecasting more damaging winds and possibly more tornadoes for that area this weekend.
President Trump's former campaign chairman will spend the next 4 years behind bars. That's the verdict from a federal judge in Virginia for Paul Manafort. The sentence is far less than the maximum 24 years he could have faced. A jury convicted Manafort back in August on 8 counts of tax and bank fraud in connection with his political consulting work in Ukraine, and also about lying about his income.
The U.S. State Department has issued a security alert for anyone heading to Mexico on vacation or spring break, telling Americans to take extra precaution traveling to that country. The Journal Sentinel reports more than 200 tourists have reported alcohol-related issues at upscale resorts in Mexico over the past couple of years. The site TripAdvisor has also been caught deleting some alarming reviews about unregulated alcohol.
Back in Madison, Police Chief Mike Koval says the onus is on you to cut down on a big jump in car thefts. Last month, there was a 41% increase in the number of stolen vehicles compared to February of last year. Of the 38 stolen car reports this February, 33 of them had keys inside, and 11 were left unlocked and running. 28 of those vehicles have since been recovered.
Foxconn could be moving into some office space in downtown Madison. The State Journal reports that an LLC tied to the Taiwanese tech company recently registered with the state under the name FE1 West Main Madison. In a statement to the paper, Foxconn said it's always looking for real estate opportunities, but would not confirm that it's looking for office space on the Capitol Square.
A first alert traffic note for you on this Friday. The Department of Transportation plans to shut down southbound lanes of I-3990 near the Wisconsin 26 interchange and the US 14 exit in Janesville. Those will start tomorrow night at 8 and last until 5 in the morning through next week. Ramps at those interchanges will not be impacted.
Speaking of traffic, let's turn it over to Jason Stone with one more look at your first alert traffic. Hey, Jason.
Hello. Brake lights on the Beltline starting at Stoughton Road. Otherwise, drivers are near the posted speed limit on the Beltline. No pressing issues on John Nolan. The only minor delays have been at North Shore Drive. And an accident north of County Road F has closed Highway 69 between New Glarus and Monticello after a 2-vehicle crash. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah, the polar bears are out this morning.
Over the corner there.
Yeah, almost moving out of the shot early today, but they're enjoying the snow that is falling here in the Madison area. It won't add up to much, so don't worry about that. Take a look at your extended forecast then. We have 30s in the forecast for the next several days. That's the good news. But a big storm this weekend brings a mix and then some rain to the area. It'll eventually change over to some light snow with some minor accumulations possible.
Hey, at least we're headed in the right direction temperature-wise.
Yeah, love to see those 30s.
All right, folks. Yeah, right. Stay safe out there if you're out on the roads this weekend. Make sure you download our First Alert Weather and Traffic app to keep updated on that storm. Have a great weekend.